So what is PSLF? PSLF stands for Public Service Loan Forgiveness. PSLF is a loan forgiveness program that will forgive the remaining loan balance after you've made 120 qualifying monthly payments under an accepted repayment plan and while working full-time for an eligible employer. So now let's go into the repayment plan. So you have to repay your loans in an income-driven repayment plan or a 10-year standard repayment plan. So under the studentaid.gov website, here are some of the qualifying plans. The newest one is recently the SAVE plan, or you can do pay-as-you-earn repayment plan, income-based repayment plan, or income contingent repayment plan. I would recommend you go on the website, play around with all the different tools. So there should be a tool that lets you figure out all the different options for repayment, and it'll tell you rough estimate of what your monthly payments would be, and just choose the one that works best for you. Now let's go into eligible employer. Now it's really important that you're employed full-time. If you work part-time, it won't count, and it has to be for a federal institution. So for me, what makes me eligible is that I work for the VA, which stands for Veterans Administration. It's essentially a hospital specifically for veterans. Now, how do you check if your employment is eligible? You can go on the studentaid.gov website, and essentially there is an employer search tool that you can use. You can search up your employer and see if they're eligible. Now, are all student loans eligible? No. So only loans that are eligible are if you have direct loans. So what you can do is you can consolidate all of your federal loans together. Essentially, that's what I did. When I graduated pharmacy school, I had several different types of federal loans, and before I applied, I consolidated all my loans into one. Now, unfortunately, I did have some private student loans from my school, and those weren't eligible. So currently, I am making 2 separate loan payments, one for the private student loans and ones that are eligible for PSLF. Thankfully, majority of my loans, I want to say like 90% of them are federal loans, so they were eligible for PSLF. Now, how do you apply? So it's very straightforward. All you need to do is submit the form. You can submit it digitally or manually via snail mail. And both forms are available on the studentaid.gov website. Now, what's not often talked about is how you maintain your PSLF status. So you're gonna have to recertify your employment every year. You're gonna have to recertify your income for the income-based repayment plan. So in order to check how many qualifying payments you've made, you need to submit the form every single time, just so that the program updates the count. So I didn't know this when I first started. So I thought the counts were continuous. You know, every time I made a monthly loan payment, I thought my count would go up, but it doesn't. That's not how it works. So I would say a good practice is to submit the form every 1 to 2 years, just to make sure there's no issues and that everything your payments have been accounted for. Who would want to do PSLF? Essentially, pharmacy school is expensive. This loan forgiveness program would help those with significant amount of student loans, like me. So essentially, when I graduated, my game plan was to work for the VA, just so that I could be eligible for this type of program. My student loans is insane, and I knew I didn't want to be in debt for the rest of my life. So I know there's a lot of pharmacy students or potential pharmacy students that are really scared of student loans, and understandably so. So this is one way that could help you, not be so burdened by the student loans, and wishing you the best of luck.